Greetings, Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. This is your Western forecast for 2025. This year, every single planet is changing signs. Now, all the personal planets, from the Moon, Sun to Venus, Mars, they're changing signs almost every month or so, with the Moon every couple of days. But the outer planets of this Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, for them to all be changing signs in the same year is incredibly rare. So this is why I call this a major paradigm shift. And the good news is Pluto is left Capricorn at the end of 2024. It began in 2008, and it was partly responsible for all the divisiveness in the world. But now Pluto is in Aquarius for nearly 20 years. And Pluto is profound transformation. Aquarius is the sign of brotherhood, community, friendships, the global village. And so this profound shift is slowly wanting to bring at least the majority of people into more harmony with each other. Now, the outer planets are life-changing, and all four of them are changing signs. But before I pull back and look at the big picture of how these outer planets are impacting you more individually, my other video, 2025, A Paradigm Shift, was looking at how it's impacting society and humanity and the world at large. But before I get to how these outer world transits are impacting you individually, I want to start looking at what's going on individually. What are you experiencing quite personally right from the get-go, January? So Mars, ambitious, aggressive, assertive Mars, the warrior planet in mythology, is retrograde from December the 6th till February the 23rd. Mars doesn't like being retrograde because it feels like it's being held back in prison, stuck. And it can get depressed, it can get frustrated, it can get really irritable. But Saturn will be in harmony with the Mars in Cancer, bringing focus and discipline and groundedness. Now, Mars in Cancer is going to be retrograde the first month and a half, so there's more delays and frustrations. But Mars in Cancer is in the 8th house, because Cancer is 8 signs past Sagittarius. So a lot of this anxiousness and drive, Mars can be arguing, it can be competitive. The 8th house deals with joint ventures, financial contracts, a lot of negotiations with business matters. The first month and a half, they might be feeling really stressed, frustrated, but Saturn is in Pisces, a water sign, in harmony, compatibility with Mars in Cancer, a water sign. So the Mars remains in Cancer in your 8th house until April the 17th. Goes direct on February 23rd. So now you have more focus, you're more objective of achieving your goals. And this has a lot to do with a lot of financial responsibilities and negotiations that the Saturn is keeping you disciplined and grounded. Now, before I pull back and look at the big picture of how Neptune, Pluto, Uranus could be impacting you for at least a decade, if not up to, with Pluto, for the next 20 years. Before I pull it back, let's, if you enjoy these videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. All right. So we got Mars, restless, ambitious, aggressive Mars, tap dancing in the 8th house of finances, January, February, March to the middle of April. But Venus, the planet of desire and harmony and love and marriage, is going retrograde in the sign of Aries on March the 1st to April the 11th. Venus goes retrograde every year and a half. It's a time of reevaluating, testing relationships, or maybe even of your creative projects. And the Venus in Aries for March will be in your 5th house. The 5th house is the sector of creativity, of children, of romance. It's a very pleasurable, entertaining area of the chart. And there's your Venus, which is it's very creative energy. It's very at home in that 5th house. But you are reevaluating these 5th house issues, which I'll pull it back any further and you'll have a little bit more insight to what I'm talking about. So Neptune is moving into Aries on April the 1st till October the 22nd, giving us a preview of Neptune entering into your 5th house. Then it retrogrades back into Pisces in the 4th house of home and family. And then by February 2026, it's back into Aries in your 5th house till 2039. Neptune by itself can just bring in a lot of unfocused, nebulous, confusing energies. But the Neptune, now this is the first time in 166 years. It's all part of this big paradigm shift. But the Neptune is being very favorably supported by Pluto and Uranus, which are both in air signs, and air is very compatible with Aries, Neptune in Aries. Better yet, Saturn, grounding, stabilizing Saturn, is moving into Aries, joining Neptune, but Saturn doesn't go into Aries till May the 24th to September the 1st. Then it retrogrades back into Pisces. A lot of unfinished business with family real estate. Back into the 5th house, joining Neptune in the 5th house. February the 20th, 2026 is when they're exactly aligned. And that Neptune-Saturn alignment begins a new 36-year cycle. It's very important, but let's go back to, so Saturn and Neptune, if it was without any positive support, and there's a ton of positive support here, if it would be discouraging, depressing, weakening, because Neptune is the dream and Saturn could be squashing it, but it's being supported by Pluto and Uranus, and more the positive side of Saturn can help to make the vision and the dream look real, look positive, possible. The Saturn to Neptune can manifest your vision. And the Saturn-Neptune are in the 5th house of where the Venus was reevaluating and readjusting which directions to go in March. And then in April and May, having Saturn and Neptune in the 5th, you could be going after your dreams of having a family, having children. That's the 5th house. Or achieving some creative success, or in entertainment, or even sports. That's the 5th house. The 5th house in business can also be gambling, speculation, and investing. And with the Saturn-Neptune so positively supported, trust your hunches because you can make any kind of creative project start to manifest it more financially. Now, Jupiter is the ruling planet for Sagittarius. Jupiter, like Sag, is optimistic, it's outgoing, it's adventurous. The key words of Sag or even Jupiter are the eternal student or both the eternal traveler. So Jupiter was in Gemini once in 12 years from the end of May 2024 through the beginning of June 2025. Jupiter in Gemini is opposite Sagittarius. So the opposite represents the significant other, the marriage, the significant partner, business partnerships, powerful, expansive customer base or clients. And the Jupiter was trying to bring in more growth and opportunity. Great for getting married, forming a business partnership. But June the 9th, 2025, Jupiter goes into Cancer for 1 year till June the 30th in your 8th house, because Cancer is 8 signs past Sagittarius. And the 8th house are all these financial rewards and gifts and partnerships and settlements and inheritance, and Jupiter brings all the luck and all the growth and prosperity. Now, back to Mars in the 8th house, January, February, March to the middle of April, being supported by Saturn. So you are going to be able to really set up and start achieving your goals and objectives with finance, with investments, with joint ventures. Then, as that had been set up the first 3.5 months, or that's where a lot of your attention was focused on, now prosperous, lucky, expansive Jupiter goes into the 8th, June the 9th, for 1 year. And that could bring in the rewards of all your financial efforts with business contracts and negotiations. Uranus is the planet of innovation, liberation, rebellion. It looks to the future. Uranus is going into Gemini July the 7th through November the 7th, giving us a preview when the Uranus moves back into Taurus. And then in 26, it's also going back into Gemini till 2033. Uranus does very well in Gemini because, well, astrologically speaking, Uranus rules Aquarius, which is an air sign, and Gemini is an air sign. So that's one interpretation. But Uranus is all this genius, technological, looking to the future, thinking out of the box energy. And it loves being in Gemini once every 84 years because Gemini is the sign of information, ideas, and communications. So having Uranus in Gemini for these next nearly 7 years could be all these exciting new ideas, but it's transiting the 7th. So this could be with partnerships, that you could be exploding all these new ideas. Now, Uranus doesn't go into Gemini. It's the last planet to change signs, July the 7th. So July through August, all 4 of these outer planets, these life-changing planets, will be in harmony with each other. And that's when many people, hopefully, can start seeing the hope and the light at the end of the tunnel of all this transitional crazy energies that we've been experiencing. The first half of the year, all the planets are changing signs. Now, they're all going to be in harmony with each other. They're all moving in a very positive, favorable direction. But because there's so much change, it can be a bit nerve-wracking and insecure and it's like all this dust is being thrown up into the air, and we have to wait for it to settle down. By July, August, many of you hopefully will get a sense of where the positive is going. And to finish this, Pluto, transformational Pluto in Aquarius, that's trying to bring communities together. But Pluto in Aquarius is 3 signs past Sagittarius. So all this deep, profound change is moving through the 3rd house of learning and ideas and writing and speaking and selling for the next 20 years. And with the Saturn-Neptune alignment in the 5th, you could be with the 3rd house, because the 5th house can be romance and children. But if we bring in the 3rd house of learning and new ideas and writing and acting and speaking, that major Saturn-Neptune in the 5th that starts a new 36-year cycle, the 5th of entertainment, the 5th house of creative expression. Now, the 5th house, if you're dealing with sports, that Pluto in the 3rd could be really refining new skills and techniques. So, Sag, I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or to check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.co. That's .co. Until next year, be safe and well.